Good afternoon and welcome to Park Life News. I'm Paul Sutton.
And I'm Sabrina Tugan. Here's your afternoon news update at 2:30. First today, there have been calls for a public inquiry over a new incinerator which is being built just off the M5 in Gloucestershire.
Earlier this week, protesters gathered outside the site at Javelin Park to draw attention to the growing cost of the project, but the County Council say it will be value for money. Nat Schaefer reports on the latest developments.
Members of the protest group No Monster Incinerator in Gloucestershire, or NOMO in Glow, met near the site on Tuesday morning. They blocked off the road, put up signs, burned fake plastic money, and one of them even dressed up as Scrooge to illustrate how they feel the council has acted. This isn't the first time people have protested about this. 4 years ago, hundreds of protesters met in Stroud after contractors Urbesa Balfour Beatty were given permission to build. So what are they concerned about? We spoke to some of them to find out.
Last year, the tail end of last year, the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, issued a report in which they said we have 12 years in which we need to take action to ensure that climate does not warm above 1.5 degrees. Operations like the incinerator behind me emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and they will ensure, if we carry on like this, that we will break that 1.5 limit.
But there's another reason people are angry. Last year, it was revealed that the project will cost £100 million more than was originally planned in 2013. While Gloucestershire County Council insists the project will still be good value for money, others are not so impressed. Rachel Smith of the Green Party in Minchinhampton is one of them.
I am completely outraged by this, not least because that contract was renegotiated in secret without proper procurement process and without the proper kind of competitive tension that's required to guarantee a good price for the taxpayer.
The plant is set to be ready by July, and as far as we know, building is still going ahead. Whether these protesters will succeed in stopping it remains to be seen. Nat Schaefer, Park Life News, Cheltenham.
Retailers are warning of challenging times ahead following poor sales over Christmas. The winners were discount stores such as Aldi and Lidl. Losers were Mothercare, Debenhams and John Lewis, which has just opened a new flagship store in the centre of Cheltenham. Zoe Gator finds out what's going on.
With the continued competition from online buying from places such as Amazon, rising business rates, falling consumer confidence and Brexit uncertainty, the future doesn't look bright for the High Street in 2019. But what does it all mean for Cheltenham?
And Christmas was on a Tuesday this year, which is always a really difficult one for retailers to plan, because in normal trading days, that's the lowest trading day of the year, of the week rather. So it's always the most difficult one to forecast. And obviously in John Lewis particularly, as a flagship store, you get an incredibly interesting experience that brings people into the store anyway. And if you look in the store, actually, yes, it's a John Lewis store, but actually in the store, there's a lot of other brands in there doing a lot of interesting things to excite the customers when you're in there. I don't know, for example, there's Nespresso are in there, and they're doing some demonstrations in there, showing you what new ideas have got, new coffees and so on. So all of that is a reason, like a destination store, to go into Cheltenham.
Zoe Gator, Park Life News.
There are growing fears for community life in a village near Cheltenham. Prestbury is said to be one of the most haunted communities in the country.
But with the closure of its doctor's surgery, people are worried it's becoming a different sort of ghost town. Louise De Freitas reports.
Prestbury, famous for its racing, its gardens and its history. It's home to around 6,000 people who until now have benefited from a doctor's surgery, a local pub, a post office and the village stores. But that's about to change as the Seven Post surgery closes today and patients will have to travel 3 miles to a new medical centre in Bishop's Cleeve.
Really sad about the doctor's surgery especially going. I belong to that practice myself, and it does mean that I've got to drive right way out to Bishop's Cleeve, which isn't good. It's not even in the village in Bishop's Cleeve, it's out on a limb. I don't know how older people are going to get there, if they've got to catch buses and that. There isn't a direct route there yet, so that's going to be really awkward for them.
It doesn't end up as a village community, does it, if everyone's got to be outside the village to get anywhere? So there's no doctors, the pub's closed, and then will the chemist go if the surgery's no longer there?
So if all the shops and businesses disappear, what's left for Prestbury?
There is no doubt that the village in the coming year, as things appear is going to struggle. We could, in the worst case scenario, lose 3 businesses, which would effectively kill the village. Our big problem is car parking. We don't have adequate car parking, and there's nowhere for it to go.
History tells us that the Headless Horseman once galloped through the village, but with the loss of these amenities, will it only be cars that charge down the streets, making the village a ghost of its former self? Louise de Freitas, Parklife News, Prestbury.
And now for Brexit, and we are leading up to the big vote next week. There is talk of no deal, no Brexit, or a plan B. It's all very confusing. To try and make sense of it all is our political correspondent Phoebe T. Sargent-Jones. So how's it all going in Gloucestershire then?
So it's all very confusing here. Alex Chalk, who is Cheltenham's Conservative MP, will be voting in favour of Theresa May's deal, saying that a no deal would cause enormous disruption to our economy. He also says that if there is a deal, it would just be absolutely catastrophic, so he don't want that. Gloucestershire MP Richard Graham is one of the 200 MPs who signed a letter to Theresa May to stop the threats of a no deal, and he has been arguing against Theresa May in the past, but he does say that he will be voting in favour of the deal as it will start to try and sort it all out. It is very divided, and the other parties are not really saying much, but it just seems like it's very confusing still at this late stage.
So the big question is it going to be deal or no deal?
Well, there is still 5 days of debates to go. There's a lot of tension. It is unlikely that there will be a no deal, but Theresa May and the government is trying to sort it out, getting some ferry operations going and sorting out £1 million deals to sort it out. But it's still all to play for at this late stage.
Thank you very much, Phoebe.
One of the iconic figures of the 70s and 80s was Freddie Mercury, whose life story was told in the hugely successful film Bohemian Rhapsody, which has won 2 Golden Globes. It's been a particularly poignant time for one Gloucestershire woman. Beth Law's late father had a strong resemblance to the rock star, and she has marked the anniversary of his death with a new tattoo. Here's her story.
When I was 6 years old, my dad unexpectedly passed away. He actually took his own life. His inspiration was Freddie Mercury. My family were always heavily into music. I was brought up on music, but one band in particular was Queen, and I used to listen to them in the car. The CDs were always in the car, the tapes. When I was sort of 4 or 5 years old, I used to get up every Saturday morning when my mum and dad were still in bed and go and put on a Queen record and pretend I was on stage with Freddie. Freddie kind of brought me up when my dad wasn't able to. Freddie is one of those people that I look up to, and I see him doing what he was doing and everything he went through as a human being as well as a performer. He's just an incredible man, and I owe so much to him.
To sport now. The Irish are back in town, but not for the races. Gloucester Rugby host Munster tonight at Kingsholm. Here's sports correspondent Adam Budd with the latest sports news from around Gloucestershire.
Gloucester Rugby take on Munster tonight in a big match in the European Champions Cup. Former England player Danny Cipriani is set to return after recovering from a chest injury. And on to the football. Cheltenham Town welcome Tranmere Rovers on Saturday in what is set to be a tough fixture for the Robins. Cheltenham have won 4 of the last 5 games against Tranmere, and we're hoping this trend carries on. Elsewhere in Gloucestershire, Forest Green Rovers are on the road and travel up to Oldham in a tie that could prove to be an important match for the Gloucestershire side. 3 points for Forest Green could see them cement their place in the playoffs further. And finally, Andy Murray has announced he has plans to retire after Wimbledon in the summer, although he admitted he fears he will not be able to play through the pain until then. The 3-time Grand Slam champion boasts a glittering career that will go down in history.
Remember Back Tonight at the Museum, the box office hit film? Now the Wilson in Cheltenham is bringing it to life. The experience, which is aimed at families, allows them to search for hidden objects and clues by torchlight. Here's a taste of what it's like. Let's hope you're not too scared of the dark.
So the Museum by Torchlight event was set up to give people a new, different kind of perspective on our permanent collection. So in our gallery space, I set up a scavenger hunt with items from our handling collection, such as skulls or masks, and I put them in amongst the exhibits, and we switch off all the lights and give people torches. And when it's pitch black in here, the perspective you get is very, very different. It forces you to focus in on different aspects of what you see. I feel like atmosphere is pretty key to your experience of a space within a museum and its collection. And with the museum pitched into darkness, your experience of the pieces changes. You're forced to consider everything in an individual way. Your vision is kind of honed in on stuff, and you feel like you're kind of shrouded in darkness. So everything is like a heightened sense of experience, which is really exciting. And the activity is really for younger ones and excited adults to come along and participate. So it's that kind of excitement that you get. During school holidays, we have a whole slew of craft events for families and one-off events, things like messy art activities, experimental shadow and camera making kind of workshops. We also have workshops for adults, technical learning experiences such as printmaking or felt making, calligraphy. So a pretty broad range of activities for different audiences.
This time of year, we're all making and breaking New Year's resolutions. Mine's go to the gym more.
Well, I've already broken mine, which was to get 8 hours of sleep every night. Well, here's another suggestion. It's called piloxing, and it may be the new trend for 2019. Our reporter Kieran Phillips went to go out and see what it's all about.
I'm here at the Leisure at Cheltenham, finding out all about the new piloxing craze. Now, piloxing is a mix of standing Pilates, dancing and boxing, and it really tests your agility, your flexibility and your capability, really. It's a high-energy workout that's really rising in popularity, and today I'm here to talk to one of the instructors about what it's all about.
Okay, so I've been teaching piloxing for about 7 years now, but this class at Leisure At has just started for January 2019, so I know we're looking to increase fitness offering at Leisure At. So it's just great to bring it in because it's cardio and core, and it's a fantastic workout. You can see I'm sweaty and I've just done an hour and 10-minute class. I mean, I think it's got a bit of high intensity workout, so you do take it higher and there are options to modify. And then we add in Pilates, which means that you're working different muscle groups and your core, and working on stability and flexibility, which are all hugely important, as well as getting the heart rate up. So after you've done your cardio section, then you drop it down into your Pilates section, and you really do work each muscle group. You work the glutes and the quads, and we actually work the arms as well. So it's an all-over body workout, and it's super fun, and the music's awesome too.
So there you have it, the first ever piloxing session at the Leisure at Cheltenham. This is the fitness trend for 2019.
Well, if piloxing isn't your thing, how about Zumba? But this isn't any Zumba class. This one has added bounce.
Jen Montgomery from the Funky Warehouse in Cheltenham says it's a great way to keep fit.
It's a lot of fun. Trampolining is brilliant. I've been doing it for years and years, and I've been doing Zumba for years. So to be able to combine the two, it gives people something different and a little bit of excitement in their exercise.
Actually, since I've broken my resolution, maybe Funky Zumba could be my new resolution.
It's Panto time, and here in Cheltenham, Aladdin is the biggest show in town. It continues until the weekend at the Everyman Theatre.
And two of its stars, Thea Bunting and George Hinson, take us on board their magic carpet.
We are in Aladdin, the pantomime here at the Cheltenham Everyman Theatre.
So I'm PC Ping.
And I'm PC Pong. Sometimes you have to put all your eggs in one basket and just go, I'm going to go for it, without a backup plan. And it's worked out, thankfully, for me. So far, fingers crossed.
It gives a lot back, and it's hard work, but it doesn't feel like a job.
The hashtag January has been taking over social media feeds.
It's a month-long event to encourage women to forget the razor and let their body hair grow freely. And it's all for charity. Megan Grove reports.
Removing body hair can be a tedious everyday routine. However, the hashtag January is encouraging women to ditch their razors and let their hair grow, all for charity.
For me, I think it's a waste of money, like having to do that regularly. If people don't agree with January in general because of the feminism linked to it, I think that's really stupid, because it's not a point of it being a feminist topic and people having to go against, like, be anarchy and go against the government. It's just showing people that in this generation we can now do what we want and express ourselves differ to the stereotype.
Some beauty experts believe removing body hair is what will make you feel confident. This salon in Cheltenham believe waxing is the way forward.
Yeah, I would say there are a lot of people, but females prefer to wax because they just want to give up shaving, so the wax just lasts longer and they just think that is better long term.
Yeah, there's more of a practical side to it, definitely. People find it hygienic and stuff as well, but generally I think women like to have that choice as well, and it does make them feel good about themselves. It's like those little things. It's the same as getting your nails done or something for some people. Makes you feel
I think
good.
at the end is the result that you want to have long term.
So the month of January sees many people growing out their body hair in the name of charity. However, for some, it's just one wax too far.
Now for the weather. Let's cross over to our correspondent who is on Cleve Hill, Amy Owen.
Hello, I'm Amy Owen, your weather correspondent. I'm here today at the top of Cleve Hill. It's around 4 degrees, so it is a bit chilly, but as you can see, we have really good visibility. The Met Office does warn of a stratospheric warming though. This means snow could be coming to you around the 20th of January, so next Sunday. I recommend you get your scarves, gloves and hats ready. Keep up to date on our Twitter page at UOG Park Life. I hope you have a great week. Stay safe.
That's all for now. Make sure you check out our website at jmag.gloss.co.uk or find us on social media at UOG Park Life for all the latest and breaking news.
Have a nice rest of your day.
Goodbye.
So.